So I know that we all kind of like, giving our little opinion about how somebody's living their life, like really telling them off or criticizing them about something and rebuking them, and that's a lot of fun. Like, let's show our power a little bit here, yeah. But anyway, the thing is, there's a way to do it wrong, and there's a way to kind of do it right. And I want to teach you how to do it right. So, in just a little bit, we're going to talk about how to actually give somebody criticism and actually tell them off in a good way.
Sweet! We're watching the Wizive show.
See, I don't know when the last time it was that you criticized somebody, but it's actually one thing that I realized when studying the Bible is that it's actually sometimes you got to criticize somebody. And for myself, I'm more the type of guy that likes to make friends, and I don't like to have people look at me bad or anything like that, or I don't want to insult people, or it's one word, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but I don't want to make people feel like I'm against them or something. And so for myself, I have a hard time criticizing, I'll be honest. But the Bible clearly talks, in Proverbs, it clearly talks that we need to criticize sometimes. And actually, I'm going to read a couple verses here. So, Proverbs 27:5 says, "Better is open rebuke than hidden love." Pretty much it's saying that, sometimes it's better to rebuke than to be in love with someone and have it hidden. So it's saying that sometimes, we have to rebuke. We have to tell people what they're doing wrong in life, especially if it's something that's getting between them and God. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Proverbs 28:23 says, "Whoever rebukes a person will in the end gain favor rather than the one who has a flattering tongue." That's pretty important there. It's pretty much saying that if sometimes whoever rebukes a person will actually gain more favor and more stuff will be right for him than the person that is always, flattering people and stuff like that and making people feel good about themselves. Because sometimes you make people feel good about themselves when they really should be thinking about the things that are getting between themselves and God. And see, that's what rebuking and criticism is really all about. It's about getting to the deep issue of what people are going through that is getting between their relationship with God. That's getting between them and God, because that's the last thing that you want to happen is something to get between you and God. And you, as a fellow believer, and if you know a believer that they're letting something get in between that relationship, then it's your responsibility to say something about it. It's very, very, very important. Now I'm going to give a couple examples. I'm going to give this one example here about criticism and how to do it right. Let's say Kristin's actually videotaping me right now, so I'm going to pick on him a little bit. Let's say he this one Sunday he went and watched his basketball game instead of going to church, and he always watches these sports games. He's really into sports. Let's just say that for the example here. And I see that, and I'm like, he actually went to a basketball game instead of coming to church. Is that getting between his relationship with God? It could be. So it's my responsibility. So I see it as my responsibility. I should maybe go say something. But first of all, before I criticize anybody, you got to do this. Follow along with me on this here. Write it down. It'd be a good thing to write it down. Is the first thing before you criticize someone, you got to look at your motive. Why am I criticizing Kristin? Am I criticizing him because I want to look good and I want to feel like, yeah, I'm in control. I can tell him what's wrong. Yeah, that's why I want to criticize this guy. Or what's my real motive behind it? Do I want to criticize him to accuse him of something? I just want to accuse somebody. That's what a lot of people do. Is they do it wrong. They do it with this motive of, well, this guy's just doing this wrong. Look at what he's doing. They're pointing fingers at that guy instead, before realizing that there's three fingers pointing right back at them. So you can't just go at it and accuse people. You can't. Your motive can't be that. Your motive needs to be pure. That you want to help Kristin live his life better. You want to make sure that he isn't getting anything between him and his relationship with God. I mean, that's what matters in life. And if he's doing that, then it's your responsibility to correct him. And so you got to look at your motive. Why do you want to tell this person this? And really be honest with yourself why you want to tell the person this. Always look at your motive first. And the second thing is that you got to look at how, if it's relevant, if what you're going to be accusing this guy of, or as we said, you don't want to accuse people, so don't come at it with an accusational spirit, but you got to come at it like, make sure that it's relevant to God. The biggest thing is to make sure that it's relevant to God, and it's something that's not just your own opinion about something. Like some people might have an opinion, really big opinion about wearing maybe jeans to church or something. They don't think it's dressy enough. And to some other people, for themselves, they're dressing up when they wear jeans. Now, that, for me, I think that's mostly a opinion, and it's not something that's necessarily coming between that person and God. Now, for some instances, depends on what the situation is. Maybe it is, but you got to look at that. You got to look at the relevance and make sure that it's something that is really causing that person to hinder his relationship with God. And then the third thing that you want to do is you want to be able to make sure that you do it the right way. That you actually, when you tell the person this, that you're doing it the right way. That you do it out of love and a soft voice. Like one way I could, criticize Kristin. You want to make sure you don't do this. I could, go up to him and say, Kristin, why in the world are you doing that? You should never go watch a basketball game on Sunday. I mean, come on. See, I could do that, and he probably wouldn't take it too well. He'd probably get mad at me, and an argument would ensue, and everything would follow behind that. So you don't want to do that. That's one way to not tell somebody what they're doing wrong. A lot of times we do that. We kind of tend to do that. The next thing I could do is I could just, here's one way that you could actually do it. It'd probably be a good way to do it. It's just to go up to him and say, hey, Kristin, I'm not here to just try to accuse you about something, but for me it looks like, and from probably other people's standards, it looks like you might be letting basketball and the thing of the idol of letting an idol between you and God, and I don't want that to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't go watch basketball or anything, but I just want to tell you that, hey, if it's getting between you and God, you got to check it out. You got to make sure that it's not getting between you and God. So, again, I said, just look at your own life and make sure of that. Here I'm not accusing him really, but I'm just telling him what I see in him, that I don't want him, that I care for him. And if you let him know that, and he knows that you're doing this because you care for him, not because you're just accusing him, then he's going to have, then the chances of him taking it the wrong way is going to be much lower. But there's still going to be some people that will take it the wrong way, like it says in Proverbs 9:7. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insult. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Pretty much what it's saying, no matter what, some people will just take it wrong. And you got to be fine with that, because it's better to criticize somebody than to let them go on in their sin. Because if you do that, you let them go on in their sin, you're kind of helping them along if you don't criticize them. So sometimes it's just good to say something like that. And another good way to do it is to ask questions. Like just go up to Kristin, ask him what's the most important thing in life. What's from the Bible? What do you think is the most important thing in life? Well, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. I'm sure he knows that. He understands that. He agrees with that. And then you ask him the question, so what happens if we love basketball more than that? Or some kind of sports more than that? Do you think that's a good thing? Then he himself needs to answer that. And naturally he's going to, no, it's probably not a good thing. And then his mind is going to be going, and then he's going to, maybe I like basketball too much, and something like that. So that's a couple ways that you can tell somebody how to criticize somebody, how to not do it too. Don't yell at them. Don't do it in an accusational spirit. And that's just some thoughts that I had about criticism. Now I want you to, in the comment section below, put down some things that you think about criticizing, or maybe there's some way that you think is a smart way to show somebody criticism, or some way that you've done, or maybe there's an experience that you've had in the past that maybe didn't go too well, or maybe that went really well. And just put in the comment section below, just to encourage each other to take responsibility for other believers that you do need to help. You need to criticize them if it's something that's really getting between them and God.
The WizIve goal for today is to be able to criticize the right way, and it's WizIve goal number 26. And the verse that I have that goes along with it is Proverbs 28:23. Whoever rebukes a person will in the end gain favor rather than one who has a flattering tongue. Now, a lot of times I'm kind of the person that likes to have a flattering tongue and not I don't really like to rebuke really much, but it says here that rebuking is actually better in the end than a flattering tongue at certain times. So I got to know how to criticize correctly, and I got to actually go out and criticize when it needs to be done.
Now is the part of the show where we're going to share with you a biblical joke of the week. And as usual, it'll probably be a little bit lame and a little bit of funny.
Okay, the joke today comes from myself. I found it online. Here's how it goes. It's a simple question. Why did the angel lose her job? She had harp failure. I need you to submit your biblical joke so that I can have it on the show. Now, how to do that? Well, you can either go to wizive.com and contact me, or you can go to YouTube and create a video response.
This has been the WizIve Show. Hopefully you learned something about criticizing somebody. Maybe it'll give you a little bit of different perspective about it. But anyway, my name is Justin Miller, and I'm out.
Coming for to carry me.